What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to give you an update on the dual battery 3000 plus watt project that I'm doing for this wired cruiser. As you can see, I'm test fitting the battery in here in the cruiser step through cavity, and it looks amazing, guys. It fits perfect. I love how it fits, and I'll tell you why it's going to look even better when I'm done with this. So this is a 60 volt 25 amp hour unit power pack battery. They were out of stock on their website, so I had to actually talk to one of their representatives to build this custom for me. And they put in 21700 LG cells in here to get it up to 25 amp hours. So I know there's quality cells in there. It's got a 40 amp BMS, just like the stock battery. So combined, running these in parallel, it'll give me an available 80 amps. However, I'm not putting 80 amps through here. What the plan is to open this controller up and do what's called a shunt mod, and put a little bit of solder on the shunts in the controller, which I will slowly ramp up how much solder I put on them to eventually get up to 60 amps. That'll give me a peak of about 3,500 watts to this motor. But realistically, this is what's holding me back, the controller, because with more amps means more heat. And so if you notice in this little area right here, there's a gap. I'm gonna try and see if I can fit in a small, maybe 80 millimeter fan sandwich right in there, blowing into this controller. I don't know exactly how this controller is set up, where the PCB is, where I can get air in, but I want to keep everything as cool as possible. But let's continue with the video. So look at how amazing this battery fits into this cavity. I think it looks perfect, guys. Let me do a quick walk around. It's heavy, by the way. I tried to move this bike earlier with the battery on it. It's heavy. This whole bike now definitely weighs just about 100 pounds with both batteries on there. But it looks amazing. I'm really excited on how this is gonna look and ride. All right, give you guys a quick close-up shot how this all sits in there. And again, I'm just test fitting. This is not how it's going to actually sit there. Right now, it's just sitting with zip ties, and here's how I'm going to fasten this battery into this wired cruiser. So watch carefully in case you guys want to do this yourselves. So I don't want all the weight of this battery sitting on this, and I obviously don't have a crossbar on top, a top tube to hang this from. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a steel wire covered in black rubber tubing, very thin, coming from here and here, and both of those are going to wrap around here. And what that means is that the heaviest part of the battery will hang on this part of the frame, right? And that takes pressure off of this battery. There's going to be a little bit of pressure up there, but that's okay. The heaviest part is going to be, it won't be sitting right on the other battery. And I'm also going to make some custom straps. I have to learn how to sew. I don't know how to sew, but I have to make some custom straps with those little like backpack clasps, those quick release clasps that wrap around here, 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 and that'll cinch this down tight onto this battery right there and part of the frame on the other side. And this will make it so that this can be removable as needed. Those wire cables that I mentioned, I'm going to make sure those have some clasps on top that you can remove those, and you can take this battery off easily if you want to. So that's not it. What else I'm going to do is make a custom shaped metal plate that kind of goes around this whole area, right? Paint it black or put something cool on it. I don't know, probably just keep it black, just keep it simple and clean. And that's going to screw in through the holes between the batteries. I'm gonna make those a little bigger because I'll have some cushioning right here. So these holes will be a little bit bigger, these gaps. And I'm gonna put a couple M6, maybe M8 bolts through here. and it's going to bolt into another plate on the other side and sandwich this whole thing together. And that'll make it very stable laterally. It'll be stable this way, it won't be able to go up, and it's hanging down, so it's not going to be too much pressure down on the battery. So that's the plan on how we're going to fasten this whole thing together. This controller right here, or not, excuse me, not this controller, this battery combiner right here, I got from eBay, and it's just a generic AliExpress controller. If you open this thing up, there's a bunch of that thermal resin in there with some ideal diodes, a capacitor to kind of smooth things out. I watched a different video of a guy taking one of these apart, not this big version, but a smaller one, and I'm okay with using this for now. We'll see how it goes. And this is a 100 amp version. I don't know if I can focus in on that. Whatever, I can't focus in, but the 100 amp version unfortunately comes with XT90 connectors. These are too big because the batteries that most of these e-bikes run off of have XT60 connectors. And so what I'll have to do with this, and I have to get these parts next, is get some extra wire and some connector kits to snap these off, run some extra cabling off of this to make sure I can fit everything that needs cabling here. And then on the ends of those cables, I'll put XT60 connectors on. I'll solder everything on as good as I can. And that will sit right in this little corner, right in that little nook. How perfect is that? Right? That'll sit right there, and this whole wiring mess will be covered by those metal plates. And what else is cool is there's going to be a gap on each side of this, and so when I'm riding, there's airflow going in, almost like ducts, right through here, and it'll exhaust straight out the top of those two metal plates. And so there's going to be plenty of airflow for this to stay cool. Again, I might put a small fan right in here to suck air in and then push it through the controller and maybe out. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to do that yet, but we'll see how it goes. You guys will follow along on this journey. But I am really excited at how this is going to go. 45 amp hours combined of battery life is incredible for a 60 volt, 3000 plus watt system. This thing is going to be a monster. Just last night, I was actually having dreams of being on an e-bike, wheeling it, and it was this e-bike right here. I was doing wheelies on it, easy. And I don't think this thing will do wheelies, maybe just a tiny bit, but it will have a lot more torque with those extra amps. It won't have more top speed, it'll still top out between 35 and 40 miles an hour, depending on how much you weigh, but it'll have a lot more torque for going up hills and right off the line. But I'm especially excited for that additional hill climbing capability, because that, in my opinion, is where e-bikes are really put to the test. So yeah, guys, that's the update on the dual battery system. I know some of you guys have been following this channel and you wanted to see how I was going to fit this in, how I'm going to connect everything, what the hell a shunt mod even is. So yeah, guys, stay tuned. This is actually my second time recording this video. I recorded this earlier with a DSLR I'm messing around with, and the audio was kind of messed up. The lighting was kind of low. I had to redo the lighting in the room, and so I'm on my trusty smartphone as usual, and hopefully this footage comes out better. But stay tuned for more updates, guys. I am excited on how this is going to go.